What's going on, guys? Plastic Beach X3 back here with another One Piece sim video, and this time it's going to be a unranked ladder video, so I guess no ladder involved. But it's going to be with the OP10 Eustace Captain Kid strategy. Deck's pretty cool, I will say that. It's very annoying to play against, I mean, pretty obviously. If you just look at some of the cards that they play, and it's yellow, so it is what it is. But I just copied a list that I got off of One Piece top decks, and we're just going to be playing some OP10 over on the Eastern lobby. Nothing ranked yet. I would try to play a little bit of Lim ranked because I like the Lim deck a lot, and it just took so long to get a game. And usually you're playing against like the same person over and over, and it's just not fun to or useful to record a video when I'm playing against, Shanks over and over and over and over. I'd rather show up like different matchups and stuff. So regardless, we're going to be playing the kid deck. I'm going to go over all the cards, and if they're new, I will read them so that people who don't know what the OP10 cards do yet can know what's going on. We're going to play the 5 life yellow 5k leader. End of your turn, you can turn the top card of your life face up. Set up to a 3 to 8 cost character with the supernova type as active, and it gains the blocker ability. So notably, it's only a 3 to 8, so you can't do the Luffy. I tried. All you end up doing is turning your life face up. So, but we're on 4 of the 2 cost Shirahoshi blocker, very good card. 4 Gadatsu, very good card. Not as good as in like other decks because at least me, I'm not starving a lot of people. I play this as kind of like a mid-range deck because I don't know, I feel like you could use this card and go for game a lot of times, like way earlier than a nail can and stuff. So maybe I'm playing the deck wrong, but that's how I've been winning with the strategy. So Gadatsu is not as useful, obviously, unless it's like super on curve and you can pop something nice. It's also not that good against Usopp because everything is plus at that one cost, which is annoying. And then 4 Satori trigger, 4 Ace, of course, 4 of the 5-drop Nami. Very good card. The only issue I've found is that there's only so many cards in this deck with trigger. Nami herself, the Law, the Satori, and the Basil Hawkins. So not a ton of time. I mean, there are some instances where you just can't use the ability, but there are generally a lot of times where you can. And it's a very good card. It kills a 5-drop, so it's pretty busted. And then Cavendish, 4 of it. I was kind of dogging on this card whenever I was playing against the kid deck, but I realized that the deck just doesn't run a ton of supernovas, so like you'd never want to whiff off your Luffy if you can help it, and also you don't want to have nothing in your hand for the Law. Sorry, I'm turning down the music in my earphones. So it's kind of necessary, and it lets you play something on 6 if you don't want to play a Nami or Gadatsu, so it's a okay card, I guess. And then also, like, other applications it has, it can't get bounced by Kairos, so if on 6 you play this against Usopp, it's probably going to be sticking no matter what happens, because usually their 7-Dawn play is Rebecca into Kairos into Zoro, and none of those can deal with a 6-drop character, so decent there. And then 2 of the Scratchman of Pooh. If you have another supernova character, even the Luffy, it gains blocker, so just a 1-cost blocker with a counter on it. It's pretty good. And then 4 of the new Basil Hawkins, 4-drop 5k 1k counter. On KO, trash the top card of your opponent's life, and then trigger, draw 2, trash 1. Obviously very good with the leader ability. On 4, you can play this on curve and then make it into a blocker against decks like Usopp. You can generally just use it that turn because it's going to get bounced the next turn probably, or dealt with somehow, some way. Or like Dofi as well, if they don't just law blocker it immediately. Yeah, so pretty good card. And then 4 of the Luffy Searcher, 4 of the new Captain Kid on play, restless character, trash 1 card from the top of your opponent's life, and then end of turn, if your opponent has 2 or less life cards, you can draw 1, trash 1, so it helps you filter into and out of bricking on your big drops, so you can continue to have plays, but also not necessarily brick on them. Pretty busted card, all things considered, on 8, just to play it on 8, and maybe even play it on 10 with a Shirahoshi, it's pretty good. And then obviously you can set it as active at the end of the turn with the leader ability. And then the new broken X-Drake 2k counter. It's a 3-drop that says activate main. You can rest him to rest a 4-drop as long as your life is equal to or less than your opponent's. So you can play this against Teach to rest their Burgesses and swing into them. You can rest this to go for game. Just be careful against Usopp. You can't rest the Frankie, so just remember that. And then the 7-drop 9k Law on play. Take a Supernova from your hand, put it into your life face down, so you just gain a life on 7. Pretty good. And then you can give a Rested Dawn to your leader. The Rested Dawn doesn't really come up in this deck. Obviously, it comes up more in the green-yellow Law deck, but very good card regardless. It's a gain life on 7. Pretty good. And then you can turn into a blocker, a 9k blocker. And then the new Law trigger, if your opponent has a Supernova, or if you have the Supernova leader and the total life on the field is 5 or less, you can play this card, and then it's a 2k counter as well, something to put into life with the Law. Pretty good card. Alright, so we're going to get into some games here. First, we're going to be going into a red-green smoker deck. So one of the new decks from OP10. They're going to start with their Virgo, drawn to their Frankie Vanilla 6-drop 8k. I'm assuming they're playing it for similar reasons as we're playing the Cavendish. And yes, I know this deck plays both a Basil and a Cavendish, so I'm going to have trouble. I've notoriously mixed those two names up in the Bonnie strategy. So let's see. Let's hope I don't do that here. They're going to play their Tashigi. And then on 4, we're just going to play this Basil Hawkins, turn into a blocker, pass turn. They're going to play their 5-drop Smoker on curve. Going to be able to gain a Dawn, and then leader ability, gain 2 more Dawn up. And that card also has Banish, so the card's very annoying. Then they're going to go into the Monet. The Monet is a 2-drop 3k. You can rest this character, give up to 2 Rested Dawn to a character or a leader. And then minus 1,000 to a card. Very good in the Caesar deck. But they're just going to use it to put 2 under their Tashigi. And then swing 6, we'll take it because we really do want to be able, like, the issue with this deck obviously is that every turn that you're using the leader ability to put a life face up, you pretty much have to take the life, or otherwise you're not going to be able to use the leader ability next turn because you won't be able to flip a life face up. So there's some interesting dynamics there. We're not going to actually use the Basil here because I wanted to swing into their board, and then I wanted to swing into the Monet, KO this Tashigi, and then I can still swing at life to keep the pressure up. And now I can turn my Basil into a blocker again because we took that life last turn. They're going to play their Frankie 6-drop 8k. And just go 5. Yeah, we take the Satori. Then they're going to go 7. I'll block that one and banish one of their lives. And then they're going to play the new Tony Chopper blocker. It's a 2k counter and a blocker. On your opponent's turn, it gains 3,000. So it's a 4-drop 7k blocker, 2k counter. Pretty busted. We're going to go 6. They're going to block free with the 7k. Then we're just going to play this Law, put the Law into life, give our leader a Dawn, and decide if we want to play this Luffy or not. I think I would rather just swing 6. I think they're going to take it. Because this deck is probably on Kid or something like that. And then we're going to play the Luffy into the 7-drop, pass turn. And they are going to end up playing this 8-drop Kid. Going to be able to stand a Dawn with their Smoker character and then stand 2 more Dawn with their Smoker leader. And they have a blocker for it, so it is a little scary. And we don't have a ton of pressure right now. But I think their hand is so low that we could probably get there eventually. They're going to put 2 under Smoker and swing 9 Banish. We're just going to block 1k. They're going to try and kill our Gadatsu, which is fine because I don't really want to commit the Dawn into swinging with it anyway into the Kid. They're going to swing 8 and we'll take it. And then they're going to play a Corazon blocker and put a Dawn under the Kid. So we're not in the best situation here. If they have a 2k, it kind of sucks. We're just going to go 9 into 8. And they end up not having a 2k. They have to block with their Corazon. So we're going to take this opportunity to get as much value as we can. Play this Law, gain a life, swing 9 again. Make them use their Chopper blocker. And then we can just pass turn and flip our Law, flip our Law out of life and then restand our Law to make it a blocker. They're going to go double Kid route here. and then Smoker, restain the Dawn. So not really scared because I know they don't have any 2Ks in hand unless they just drew one for turn. And it doesn't look like they're gonna. I doubt they play any blockers off of these kids. So they're just gonna go 9. I'm actually just gonna let them banish my life because I don't want to really end up having to protect this law over and over again. I'm actually gonna go down to 0 because I plan on playing my ace because I know these 9Ks are gonna be able to kill the kids because they don't have any 2Ks in hand. That we learned from last turn. So this ace is going to get a ton of value here, be able to kill this Smoker character. And then I get to restand the blocker, and there's just no way they can kill me from this point. Yeah, so that's game. Going into the next game here, it's going to be against a Nico Robin. They're going to choose the first curve, of course, but going second, and I think we want to go second on our deck anyway. So it's not too bad for us. We're going to open Luffy into Apu, and I just go ahead and play the Apu, whereas in other matchups I would probably save it for late game. But I feel like, obviously, in this matchup, it's probably better to just slam the Apu and use it as soon as possible so that we're not taking a free banish. We're going to swing 5. They're going to hit their Jaguar D Saw and be able to play it as a blocker out of life. And then we're just going to establish our Hawkins, make it a blocker. They're going to play their Nico Robin and trash our life. And then swing 5. We'll just give them the 1K there. And I think here we just swing 7, play the Shirahoshi, restand the Hawkins. See if they hit any disgusting triggers. And then we're just going to turn that Hawkins up, pass turn. They are going to 8 Dawn. They're going to play the Lin, and I decide to give them the life that might have been incorrect. Looking back at it. But I am going to take this 6 just to get that Hawkins trigger. I'm going to discard a 2K because I feel like I might need all the top end in this matchup. And I can burn their last 2 life with these kids. Hit a beige out of life with our kid. 8 drop. End of turn. Restand it. Make it into a blocker. So obviously they're at 1 life. They could play the ace and that would be super annoying. But as long as we can live a couple turns, we should be fine. And obviously, if they just don't have it, they don't have it. If they don't have it, they're going to play the Sanji and try to rest the Shirahoshi. But they still can't kill us, so they're just going to swing 6 into the Shirahoshi. 5 into life. Just give them a 2K there. And then go 10. We'll just take that one, pass turn. Not even swing with the Sanji, obviously because I have the blocker, but maybe should have reordered the swing somehow. So we're just gonna burn their last life and go 7-9. Make them use all the cards in their hand. They're gonna give up a 0 drop and then give up a gavel or a giant into a 1K counter, and then we can just pass turn, filter twice, and then restand one of the kids. I guess technically they could get there, but with we have double 2K, double 1K, and there's just no way. We have a filter coming through the Basil trigger. They're gonna swing 9 banish. I decide if I want to counter out of that or what I want to do, and if I just counter out of it, I can't lose. So I just decide to do that. And I think they're realizing that they just can't win from this position. And they're going to try and swing 9. We'll just give them the 1K. Yeah, and they're just going to pass or concede. So next up, we're going to be playing against an RP Luffy player. They're obviously going to choose to go first, like I said, which is fine with us. We tend to want to go second anyway. Keep this hand because it has the Luffy searcher and the 8-drop, so like I have some sort of even curve here. And luckily my Luffy finds the Basil Hawkins. They're gonna swing 6-5, and I'll take the 6 count out of the 5, and then kill this Nami because I can't swing otherwise. Play the Hawkins. They're gonna play the Clay, go 8. I decide if I want to block here, and I end up doing it. Even though I don't have a great turn next turn, I think I'm just going to swing 9, play the Shirahoshi. Which is not fantastic, but it does mean that we're that much closer to killing them with this 8-drop kid next turn. We can burn their last life, and then probably live a few turns with the Law into the Ace. They're going to be on 9 Dawn, so they're going to be able to swing 6 and then play the Luffy, swing Rush. We aren't going to be able to swing this turn, but we can at least play this kid, burn their last life. They don't really have any ways to gain any life. We burn the Roger, thank goodness. And then restand our kid into a blocker. So they do have 3 good swings here, but that doesn't kill me because I have 2 blockers, 2 life. So they're just going to end up playing this Captain Kid and trying to live another turn. We're going to take the 10, and then just going to play Chopper Pass. We'll go 9. I think we're just going to ace here. And then we can filter out one of these Laws at the end of the turn. So we're just going to get as many cards / blocker out of the hand as possible this turn because we can definitely live another turn. And then we're just going to restand the blocker, pass turn. And in this spot, I kind of think I want to try and take as much life as possible without losing. 1, to make them commit the Dawn to the creatures, but also so that I can be at equal life as them, so I can play the X Drake and tap any, like, you know, Chopper or Nami blockers, Onami. But they're going to end up playing Dragon here, so I think I just win. They're going to go 8, and like I said, I want to get them to commit all their resources into swinging at me because I have 7 2Ks in hand. They're going to go 10. We'll take the free block with the Shirahoshi. They're going to go 9, so it's going to be 9-11. We'll 2-2-1. Oh no, 9-12. Oh no, so they're just going to end up going 11. Sorry, it would have been 9-13. But they're just going to end up going 11. We'll 2K, 1K, and then swing 20. They can Giant, broken card, 2K, 1K, 1K, whatever. They can't get out of it. Going into the next game, it's going to be against a Blackbeard player. Surprisingly, Blackbeard hasn't been too rough of a matchup. You would think, because like the Law and the Kid are both on play and the Ace, that this matchup would be a lot harder than it maybe is. I don't know. Maybe it is hard, and I'm just not playing against like extremely talented players, but it hasn't been too bad yet. The Basil Hawkins definitely puts in a lot of work. The X Drake puts in a lot of work. They're going to be able to go Hachinosu and then swing 7. We'll just take it, hit the 8-drop kid. We're just going to establish our Hawkins this turn. They're actually going to give us a counter, which I thought was strange, but okay. They're just going to go ahead and slam this Burgess, which, like I said in the intro, X Drake deals with relatively well. They're going to trash a Teach to for the Hachinosu to grab a Stronger, which I'm not sure if that's the right play. I feel like you want as many Teach in your hand as possible in my deck against my deck. So I don't really have another good 6-Dawn play, so I'm just going to end up playing this X Drake and swinging 6 into the Jesus Burgess. Good note to always keep in mind is with Jesus Burgess, when you're swinging into it, like generally if this was just a normal monster, I would be going 6-7, but since it's Burgess, you always got to keep track of the life. So that, you always got to keep track of the cards in graveyards so that you know that, is it worth to swing 6 here or 7 here, because any one card gets them even a 1K in that position because they had 7 cards in graveyard means that it's essentially a 2K. So there's no use in swinging 7 in that spot because if they just discard a 1K, they get there anyway. So I decide to swing 6 so that I can also establish the Apu. And then I'm gonna obviously establish the Kid because they don't leader ability because they're running really low on cards because of our X-Drake play and counter round of that first swing. So we're gonna be able to protect this Kid from a 12 swing. They're gonna hold up 2 for I guess this black spiral or something. Not a very popular card. Maybe they meant to put Liberation in the deck. I don't know, but and then we're just gonna play the other 8-drop and we're gonna win because they never use leader ability. Alright, going into another matchup here against the Usopp strategy. I also found that this deck, like, it doesn't really, like, my going strategy against Usopp is, regardless of what deck you're playing, just never swing into board. Simply because swinging into board benefits them, obviously, because they get to draw a card every time you do. So I have just been going at life pretty much the entire time, and it seems to work out. So they're going to play their Leo and grab a Frankie and a Rono or a Zoro. Two very annoying cards. And then we're gonna play our Luffy. Decide what to grab here. We already have 2 8-drops, so we're gonna grab the 7-drop just in case we want to go 8-drop, 8-drop, 7-drop. And we can always filter it out with Kid later on. They're gonna go a sweet 5. We'll take it. And then just play the Bartolomeo. Don't really have a 4 Dawn play here, so I actually, since we're at equal life, I can actually play this X-Drake if I wanted to. Swing 3 into the Bartolomeo. I know they're going to draw a card, but at least I get an extra swing at life. Make him discard a card at the very least, whereas if I just, swing 9, they're going to block draw a card, and I won't get any cards out of hand to mitigate the draw off the Usopp leader. So I actually decided to go with this X-Drake play, which is, maybe it wasn't right. I at least get to stand it up at the end of the turn so they can't just free swing into it. But I do know that they have the Zoro. I know they pitched the Zoro off the Leo effect, but also they probably have another. They're going to actually take an Ideo and trash a Rebecca off this. Oh, you can't take Rebecca off Rebecca, so that's why. And they are going to play this Zoro to KO our X-Drake. Tapping the leader to do so. Milling another Rebecca. Then they're going to kill our Luffy with the Leo. And now we have a turn where, once again, it's a little awkward, but I think we're going to end up playing this Cavendish for the simple fact that any Rebecca into Kyros nonsense won't be able to bounce it. Obviously, can't give it a blocker because our law is face up. They're going to play the Karaida Coliseum. Which doesn't do much in this spot, but at least you get it down. We're gonna go 6. We'll take our law. And then you're gonna play Ideo into Frankie. Frankie, probably top contender for most annoying card, just to be honest. In my books, at least, the card is pretty good. They not only get to draw off of it, but they also get to summon another blocker from the graveyard. So it's just like super value. We're going to go 5, and they're going to block, draw a card. Then they're going to actually block with the Frankie, which I'm not entirely sure I would agree with. But they do get to play this Bartolomeo, so that next turn they can block and draw, which is super busted. We're going to play our Kid, burn a life, and then at the end of turn, draw into an ace and actually discard it. I don't think I'm going to need double ace. This game at least, so and then we get to restand our Kid. In this spot, like a Luffy would be pretty annoying, I think. Oh, it's only 7k. The Luffy, the Dressrosa Luffy. They're going to end up going 9 into our Cavendish, and we will simply 2k. I don't really understand the vision behind that play. And they're going to go 5, we'll take the block, and then 5 with the Rebecca. And we're actually going to take this. I only blocked the 5 leader because it was value, And they're actually going to swing at us again so that we can use our leader ability next turn and not be forced into playing this Law so that we can leader ability. We can actually just play this Kid and burn a life, so that's pretty nice. We can go 5, 8, 9 after burning the life. They're going to block draw and then block with a Bartolomeo. And then we get to set up the Shirahoshi, restand a Kid, and it's probably just GG's after filtering twice. They're going to Zoro and kill our Shirahoshi. I don't know if they knew what Shirahoshi did, but they sit here for a while, and there's just no way that they can get there. Oh, we're gonna close out the game with an 11, and yeah. Okay. All right. Next game against another Usopp opponent. Oh. They chose first this time, which I understand why they choose first, but I'm not sure that's the best strategy against my deck. But time will tell, I guess, once we actually get these cards and can play them a lot. They're going to play the one-legged soldier, so unfortunate that they whiffed on the blocker, the first turn blocker, so they could block draw. But we will be able to set up this Basil Hawkins. They're going to go into a Rebecca, search top 3. Gonna take the one-legged soldier, swing 5, we'll take it, and then play the Cavendish. Unfortunately, won't be able to kill the Cavendish with anything, but we can at least Gadatsu this one-legged soldier. They do get to draw off of it, which is obviously annoying, but I think it's better than allowing it to stick on the board. We're set up pretty good here. We're going into our Kid turn. They do get to go Rebecca, Kairos, Cavendish, which is a pretty nasty play. Then swing with Cavendish, draw 2, trash 1. So we're not in a particularly great position, but we are set up for our Kid at least. We're going to go 5. We're, like I said, just going to completely ignore board. They end up taking the 6, which is nice, so we can burn their last life, draw 1, trash the Cavendish, restand the blocker. And we also have 6 2Ks in hand, so I'm not really afraid of dying at all. And they're sitting at 0 life, so we set them up pretty well to get killed this turn if they don't establish some blockers. They're going to play their Leo to look for some blockers, and it's going to have to be... it can't just be Deo because we do have the X-Drake. It's going to have to be something like Frankie because X-Drake can rest Bartolomeo and Ideo. So it looks like they didn't find the Frankie. They're just going to Red Rock and swing a bunch, which is almost guaranteed to die now. So we're just going to swing 15, I think. And just in case they have it, we try to counter out as best as we can, but we're just going to go 15 regardless. And they just don't have it, so yeah. That deck does play quite a few bricks because of the whole like 3-drop event stuff, the King Kong gun. Next game, we're going to go into a green-yellow Law. They're going to choose first, which I think is better for them. They're going to go 5-5. And I don't know, I just would never swing with the Luffy if I'm the Law player because like your Luffys and Searchers are so relevant in your deck that I just feel great swinging into them. And then we're going to establish the Apu, even though it's a little early. We don't really have a 4-down play regardless. They're going to play the Cavendish, swing 7. Luckily, we have the Nami here, but we don't have a lot of triggers. We only have the other Nami. Luckily, we top deck into a Hawkins, so we can go 6. Nami, discard the Hawkins, pop the Cavendish, pass turn. So that if they play another 5-drop, which, you know, the green-yellow Law deck is prone to do, we do have the Nami. Obviously, going to have to find a trigger in the next couple draws. They end up playing the X-Drake, but Not sure the purpose of that because they have more life than us. But I guess it just gets costs of characters on board so they can utilize leader ability. They're going to blind leader ability here. Nail a law off the top. And be able to play law. They end up not bouncing with their X-Drake. They should have X-Draked it first so that they could bounce the X-Drake or something. And maybe play the law and then swing with the law. Or sorry, not the law, but play with the Zoro, swing with the Zoro, I think. I think it's if you have equal, I'm not sure. But regardless, I don't know why you just don't bounce the X-Drake in that position after using the ability before you go crazy on leader and just nail the best card in the deck off of it. We're going to play our 8-drop kid. Set it up as a blocker. Not much to say about it. They're going to play their 7-drop. Put a Dawn under leader. Put a blocker law into life. They're just going to end up going 8. There's not... Yeah, if they had... if they had that Luffy from earlier... It'd be a pretty sick play. They could bounce that Luffy, play the law. But they simply do not, and yeah, their hand just wasn't there for it, so they're gonna end up scooping it up. Going into the next game here, we got a second time I've done that we have a Blackbeard opponent. They're gonna actually choose first, I think they did, which is interesting, and then play the Hachinosu. We're just gonna play double Luffy. Take the X-Drake and then take the kid. It's not going to get a ton of value because it is an on-play ability. But we at least get to filter with it, I guess, and it's a big body. They're going to play a Lafitte. Take a Lafitte. Swing 5. We'll take it. Then they're going to Hachinosu into a Shiru and then play the Lafitte. We're not going to Luffy into Lafitte. I think we're just going to end up establishing this law as a vanilla because we don't have the Basil Hawkins. Could have gave it blocker, but yeah. The next turn we could very well either play the X-Drake if they want to establish a Burgess, or we could play the Cavendish. We hit a Satori, which in this matchup we're probably using more often than not. I'm going to discard a Cavendish to summon that Satori. Seems pretty good. They're going to end up playing a Kuzan. They can go into their Jesus Burgess. And it already has a plus 1,000, so I actually decided not to play the X-Drake because I would have got very little cards out of hand. I decided just to go super aggro and take advantage of my body trigger. Play the Cavendish, restand the law as a blocker, hit a Basil out of life, which should be alright. I mean, it's not the best card ever in this position. We're going to go 5 into the Satori. I'm actually going to give a counter over that. Potentially should have just left the law tapped, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have just left the law tapped and make the Cavendish into a blocker so I could just free block that. But they're going to go Lafitte into a Liberation. The new card that is pretty broken. Then they're going to go 7. Yeah, I should have just made the Cavendish a blocker. We're going to end up killing this Lafitte. They have double 8k Jesus Burgess on the field. And we are black hold, so our kid isn't doing much. The Nami's not doing anything. So I think we're actually, since they have no blockers, only 2 life, we have 3 swingers. I mean we have 3 life, so we're not dead on board. I think it's a pretty good play just to go pretty crazy at life here. We're going to start with an 8 and go 9-9. They take the 8. We go 9. And now they have to take that 9, so now we're just going to make them 2k, 2k, 1k past turn. Restand the... Oh, we can't restand anything because of the Basil. And another factor in my decision to do that is that they're only going to 9 Dawn, so it's not like they can summon the 10-drop Teach here. They're going to try and swing into board. They're going to go 9 into 5. We'll let it go. 9 into 8. Not happening. And then 5 into 2. Then they're going to Liberation us, but they completely did not know what that card did, so they mess up. Okay, so pause. Alright, let's say that they actually read their own cards and knew what Liberation did. They had to use it right here before they swung the teach into the law, because it does require you to have 2 or less cards in your opponent on the field. So right here they could have liberation these 2. They could have swung in here with the leader if they wanted to, or just go all at life, put us to 0, and then we go 15 at life and we win. So maybe if they establish like a Vasco shot or something, they have a chance. But then also we do have the X Drake to answer. If they go double Vasco shot, we have X Drake with 2 swingers, Luffy and the kids. So very likely we would have got the game even if they knew what their liberation did. And just looking at their hand after the game, yeah, it's pretty obvious. All right, going into the next game here, we have another Usopp player. And sorry if this video is like too long for you guys. I try to keep my videos around like 30 minutes or so. But with these unranked games, they go pretty fast, and I do a lot of them because it's so fast to queue up into games. And it's also not ranked, so we're not really doing like a super deep dive into what's going on here, like the competitiveness of everything. So I decided to, when I'm doing these unranked games, make quite a few of them. I think I have 10 or so, maybe 12 games here. So I'm trying to do more for these unranked videos just to give you guys more content, more to look at, because it is a little bit less competitive and that kind of thing. We actually are going to take the block on the 7 swing because next turn they can bounce our Basil with the Kairos, so we just don't want to take that risk. And we do end up hitting a very good trigger, the King Kong gun, which is draw 3, trash 2, so that was pretty nice. They're going to establish a blocker Hawkins, and we're going to end up killing it. They do get to draw off of it, which is unfortunate, but at least we get to swing at life and get a card out of hand afterwards with our leader swing. This 1-drop card just doesn't do anything on the field. It's a blocker if you have another Tonta, or whatever, Tonta Kingdom, but they never do, so it just does nothing the whole time. So kind of irrelevant. They're going to go Rebecca into Kiros into Bartolomeo, bounce our Nami. They're going to swing 5. We'll give them a Degatsu because that card's never going to get value again. And then on our turn, we can play this Law Blocker, go up to 5 life again. Swing 7, they take it. Debated to swinging into the Bartolomeo with the Luffy's, but it's fine, I think. Maybe I should have gone 6. I just really wanted them to take the life while they had that blocker tapped. They're going to go 5. We'll get a free block, and then they're going to go 9. Potentially wouldn't have blocked there if they would have just played their characters after they swung. Just out of fear of them swinging really hard into the law. We're just going to go 9. They're going to block draw with the Bartolomeo. They do have double Frankie here. And you'll see how annoying this card is. They're going to Frankie into a Bartolomeo. I'm going to try and reduce the annoyingness by swinging 3 into the Bartolomeo, but they end up giving me a card anyway, which is pretty annoying. Because technically it does replace itself later on. I actually have the Nami here, so I'm going to kill this other Frankie. I was really hoping they'd just give me that Bartolomeo, to be honest, so I could clear both with both of the Luffy's, but unfortunately they were able to save one, so they're going to be able to block draw next turn. Assuming we don't draw like an X Drake or something. They're going to kill our little drops and then try to go 9, which is fair enough, I guess, because it can only swing into characters because of the Karaite Coliseum. They're going to establish another Bartolomeo. We draw into the X Drake. But we can't get there with just what we have on board, even with the X Drake, so we're going to have to live one more turn. We are at 3 life, and we are going to gain a life with this ace and just not swing with it. Pass turn. They're going to play their Leo, draw Frankie and Coliseum, discard the Coliseum, and then they're going to play the Frankie, go 9, we take it, hit a law trigger, might as well play it, because we are definitely going for game next turn. They're going to go 7, we'll take it, and then 7, we'll take it, and I think I definitely misplay here, and this is what I was talking about in the beginning. I learned the hard way, is that, This X straight cannot tap the Frankie, even though it has a 4 on it in this matchup. So just always keep that in mind, because I could definitely lose because I don't have those 3 extra Don here. But we end up getting there anyway, thankfully. But just always keep that in mind. Going into the next matchup here, it's going to be against a Sugar deck, and it'll probably be the last one of the video. I just really wanted to show off the Sugar deck. It's a pretty cool deck. I don't know how good it is, but it's pretty cool. They're going to take, I think they chose second, so we're going to play the Luffy. We have another Luffy, so we'll go ahead and play that and draw into our Basil Hawkins just in case we want to play it next turn. Their Sugar ability is end of turn if you have a character with Don Quixote Pirates. It does something, I don't know. Oh, you get to restand Don at the end of the turn, and then anytime you activate an event on your opponent's turn, you get to gain a Don active, or gain a Don rested once per turn. And then they're going to play the new Rosinante 5-drop 6k, trash an event to draw 2 cards, and end of turn set 2 Don active. And then we're going to kill it with the Nami, of course, on curve. They're going to play another Rosinante, trash a Red Hawk, draw 2. And then end of turn, set 2 Don up, and then Sugar's effect to set another Don up. We're going to go 5. Excuse me. They're going to Judgment of Hell, and then gain a Don rested. Pretty broken. But we do luckily have another Nami here. We're just going to Nami and kill this Rosinante again, and then establish a Scratch Metapu because we can't swing with our leader anyway because of the Judgment of Hell. They're going to play the new Doflamingo, which lets them play the new Viola from their hand. Viola's a blocker, and then on KO, add a event card from your trash to your hand. I think purple event card specifically. Then they are going to swing 5 into our Nami. Decide if I want to just let that go, and I don't. So I like my pressure right now. We're just going to go 5. They will block with the Viola and add back the Judgment of Hell. Seems pretty good, but we will get at least another swing in here and make them use it. I'm not going to tap my Nami, of course, because I know that the Judgment of Hell is coming. No reason. Might as well just swing with the leader. And then we're going to play our blocker, our kid, trash a life, and then make it into a blocker. Kind of bricked up on aces here, so if we can take 2 life, we probably will. Just so we can get some value out of them. But they're going to end up swinging into the Nami anyway. I'll let it go. Oh, and they are going to swing at life, so we will take... I forgot we only need to take 2. So we will take everything, and we have 5 bricks in hand. We're going to start 5, see what they do with it. I'm not exactly sure all the new events in this deck and all the new cards, so I'm kind of just not playing around a ton of stuff right now until I learn all the new cards. They are going to hit their Searcher event. Take a Sugar, which is essentially just a Bonnie for Don Quixote. And then we're going to play our swing 9. They take it, play the Ace, swing 10, gain a life. And they're going to Bolo Breath into a 2K into the Searcher event. Draw a Rosinante. We're going to filter, just draw into another brick, and then restand the kid. Luckily, we have 2 blockers, 2 life, so all the bricks aren't going to really matter. They're going to go into the Nami, probably just let that go. So I'd like them to swing into life here, but they are not going to. They're just going to swing at this Ace. I'll take the block on it to make them put the rest of the Don on the Luffy, and they will do so, which fair enough. And now we can't Ace. So actually these laws that were pretty bad in our hand last turn turn into pretty good this turn, because we can put a life face down, which is very good, and be able to swing 9/9 and then still be able to use leader ability because the life goes in face down. We'll filter out an Ace, and the opponent disconnects because they lost. But yeah, so pretty cool deck, all things considered. We're going to go into the list one more time. So pretty cool deck. I'm not sure how good it's actually going to be because I haven't played into like Dofi or a lot of like, decent players with all the meta decks like Blackbeard and stuff. So, time will tell. I think it's a pretty cool strategy, and I wanted to try it out, just if anything, to learn the cards so that whenever I play against it, I know how to. So, anyway, GG's to all those guys. Make sure to subscribe to Plastic Beach X3 for more One Piece videos, and peace out.